I caught her hand on his chest, and they didn't move when I walked in. My pastor's wife. My own husband. In our living room. My name is Grace. I'm a Sunday school teacher at Living Fire Ministries. People call me the church girl because I'm always in church. I pray, I fast, and I believe in doing what is right. My husband, Daniel, sings in the choir. Everyone says we are the perfect couple, like Adam and Eve before the snake came. We got married 3 years ago. Our life wasn't perfect, but we were happy. We prayed together every morning and night. We gave to the church and even helped clean the sanctuary. Pastor John and his wife, Sister Evelyn, were like family to us. I trusted them. I believed in them. I didn't know I was feeding a snake with my own spoon. Evelyn would call me often, asking if Daniel could help fix something at the church or pick her up from the market. I was proud of Daniel, so I never questioned it. He's just serving God, I told myself. But sometimes, I'd see how she looked at him, too long, too sweet. I laughed it off. I'm just being silly, I thought. But I wasn't. One Saturday morning, Evelyn came to our house. She said she wanted to thank Daniel for helping with her broken chair. I was making tea in the kitchen when I heard her giggling, then I heard Daniel laugh too. I peeped from the door. She was touching his shoulder, her eyes shining too bright. When she saw me, she pulled her hand back fast and said, "Oh Grace, you're so lucky. Your husband is such a gentleman." I smiled. But something did not feel right. I began to notice she always asked Daniel for things she could have asked any church brother to do. Even late-night errands. I told Daniel, "Isn't it strange she calls so late?" He smiled and said, "It's just church work, Grace." The next week, Daniel got a text at night. I checked it while he was in the bathroom. It said, "I can't stop thinking about today. Your voice stayed in my dreams. Good night, love, from E." My chest started beating fast. I felt hot and cold at the same time. I knew only one person who signs with E, Sister Evelyn. I didn't say anything that night. I just stared at Daniel while he slept. Was it a mistake? Could it be someone else? Or was my world about to crash? I couldn't sleep that night. I just kept thinking about the message. In the morning, I decided to act like nothing happened. I needed to be sure before I made a scene. But my heart was breaking. That afternoon, while Daniel was in the shower, I opened his phone again. This time, I found more messages. "I love your smile," one said. Another one said, "If only we had met first." My hands started shaking. These weren't jokes. These weren't church things. This was serious. This was real. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. But I didn't. I waited. That evening, I told Daniel I'd be going to my mother's house for the weekend. He nodded quickly, too quickly. No questions, no hugs, nothing. It felt like he was glad I was going. That night, I did not go to my mother's place. I came back to the house quietly. I did not knock. I used my spare key and walked inside. And that's when I saw it. Daniel. Sitting on the couch. Shirt off. Evelyn was sitting beside him. Her hand on his chest. They both froze when they saw me. No one spoke. Evelyn stood up fast, acting like nothing happened. "Grace? You're home early," she said, laughing like she wasn't doing something evil. Daniel looked away. His eyes couldn't meet mine. My husband. The man who prayed with me every night. The man who said, "I do," in front of God and everyone. He couldn't even say sorry. Evelyn tried to make excuses. "We were just talking." It's not what it looks like, but her voice sounded weak. She knew I knew. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I walked out of the house, heart heavy. I went to the church building. I sat there for hours. Alone. I looked up at the altar. God, why? I asked. Why would the woman I trusted, the woman I honored, try to destroy my home? I expected thunder. I expected a sign. But the church stayed quiet. I realized then, sometimes, the devil wears heels and carries a Bible. Daniel came to my friend's house the next day where I was staying. He begged me. He cried. He held my feet like a baby. Grace, please, I didn't mean to. It was just feelings. I didn't sleep with her. She came to me. I swear, I was weak. His words hurt more than anything. I believed him, but I didn't trust him. There's a difference. He said Evelyn started flirting with him months ago. He did not want to tell me because she was the pastor's wife. He thought no one would believe him. I did not want to lose my place in church, he whispered. I asked him, what about me? What about our marriage? You were okay with losing that? He went silent. I decided to confront Evelyn. I went to her house with boldness. When she saw me, she smiled like nothing was wrong. She even offered me juice. I said no. Why are you chasing my husband? I asked. She laughed. Grace, please. If your husband is truly yours, why is he so easy to reach? Her voice was cold, sharp like a knife. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You're the pastor's wife. I shouted. She came close and whispered, and pastors' wives get lonely too. I left that place shaking. I had never seen a face so beautiful, yet so full of evil. I knew I had to do something. I had to protect my home, but also my church. Because if Evelyn could do this to me, how many other men had she touched? I started watching closely. I asked quiet questions. And what I found shocked me. One usher said, Evelyn always calls the young married men to help her late at night. Another woman said her husband left the church quietly because Evelyn made him uncomfortable. One choir girl said, I always thought she liked Daniel too much. But I did not want to gossip. Everything started to make sense. I went to Pastor John. I sat down with him and told him everything. At first, he did not believe me. Then I showed him the messages. His face turned pale. He cried. She promised she would change, he said. She's done this before. I realized something then. Sometimes even pastors live in fear. And sometimes they cover up what they should expose. The church started to shake. Rumors spread fast. Some blamed me. Some blamed her. Daniel stayed silent, broken and ashamed. Pastor John stopped preaching for a while. Evelyn called me one last time. You think you've won, she said. You destroyed this church. I told her, no. You did. I stood before the church and told my story one Sunday. My hands were shaking, but my voice was strong. I didn't come to destroy, I said. I came to tell the truth. Some people clapped. Some cried. Some walked out. But I did not care. I was free. Daniel and I went for counseling. It wasn't easy. I almost left many times. But something in me said, try one more time. We prayed. We talked. We forgave each other. He quit the choir. I stopped teaching for a while. We focused on healing. Slowly, I saw my husband return, not just to me, but to God. And me? I became stronger. Wiser. I stopped trusting too easily. But I also did not let bitterness grow in my heart. Evelyn left the church. No one saw her again. Pastor John stepped down for a season. The church brought in new leaders. Healing began. I became a leader too, this time, not because I was perfect, but because I knew pain. I could help others now. I could see the signs early. Daniel and I renewed our vows. We held hands and promised again. This time, not just with words, but with truth. 2 months had passed. The church was quieter, and people pretended everything was normal. But the truth never really goes away. It waits, buried like a seed, until someone waters it. One rainy afternoon, I was cleaning out the old storage room at church. It hadn't been used in months. I found torn boxes, dusty folders, and old name tags. That's when I saw it. A pink notebook. The front had a name written in fine black ink, Ijeoma C. The name pulled something in my chest. Ijeoma. I hadn't heard that name in a long time. She used to dance in the youth fellowship. Sweet girl. Always full of light. Then, one Sunday, she just stopped coming. No goodbye. No farewell. People said she traveled. Others said she got pregnant and ran away. I flipped open the book, and my hands went cold. He said I was special. He said God had chosen me. But I'm not sure anymore. I feel like I'm being used. I don't trust her, his wife. She watches me like I'm a threat. Like she wants me gone. My fingers tightened around the paper. The handwriting was shaking. Page after page, Ijeoma poured out her fears. He promised he would talk to her. But weeks passed, and now, she's saying I must leave the church. Evelyn told me never to come back. She said if I speak, I'll regret it. I dropped the diary. My heart pounded. This wasn't just a random girl. This was a voice, a cry for help. Was Evelyn behind Ijeoma's disappearance? Did Pastor John know? I showed Daniel the book that night. He stared at it for a long time. We need to find her, he said. But what if she's gone? I whispered. Daniel took my hand. Then we find out why. Daniel and I didn't sleep that night. We read every page of the pink diary. Each word felt like a scream frozen in time. Ijeoma had loved God, served the church, and trusted Pastor John. But behind closed doors, she was broken. Used. Scared. Betrayed. She said she missed her period, I whispered, pointing to a line. I'm late. It's been 2 months. He keeps telling me to stay quiet. That God will fix everything. But I can't breathe anymore. I feel like I'm dying inside. And if anything happens to me, let the world know it wasn't an accident. Daniel sat back, jaw tight. We can't let this go. We began to ask questions, cautiously. In church, asking too many could get you labeled as rebellious. But I was already seen as the woman who had disgraced Evelyn. At that point, I didn't care anymore. One choir girl, F, looked around before whispering, Ijeoma didn't travel. Her mother came to the church crying 2 months after she disappeared. She said her daughter left a note saying she couldn't take the pressure anymore. Did she say who got her pregnant? I asked. F bit her lip. Nobody believed her. The church covered it up. I heard. Evelyn made it go away. The mother left town. Something deeper was wrong. Daniel and I went to Ijeoma's old apartment. The landlord said the rent was paid for a full year in cash, 2 days after she vanished. Who paid for it? Daniel asked. The landlord shrugged. A church woman in a black SUV. I knew that SUV. I had seen it in Evelyn's compound. We reported everything to Pastor John's senior overseer. But things moved slowly. Quietly. Too quietly. It felt like someone was cleaning up behind us. One Sunday morning, after service, Evelyn walked up to me outside the church gate. She looked calmer than I expected. "You've been digging," she said softly. "I'm looking for idioma," I replied. She smiled. "You won't find what doesn't want to be found." Then she leaned in and whispered something that made my stomach turn. She was weak. "Just like you." I slapped her. The sound echoed. Her eyes widened, then she laughed and walked away. That week, Daniel got a strange text from an unknown number. "Stop before you both disappear too." We went to the police. They promised to look into it. But nothing came of it. Files were missing. Officers transferred. Nobody called us back. Then one day, a brown envelope appeared at our doorstep. Inside was a photo. Idioma. Lying on a bed. Eyes closed. Belly full. The bottom of the photo was dated 2 days before she vanished. No address. No name. Just a photo. We both cried that night. 3 days later, Daniel got in a car accident on his way from night vigil. His brake lines had been cut. He survived. The doctors said it was a miracle. I sat beside him in the hospital, shaking. I knew now, this wasn't just about infidelity. It was a system. A rot. A cover-up too dark to face in the daylight. And maybe, we were in too deep. I got a call the next day from a blocked number. "You should have just kept quiet," the voice said. It sounded like a woman. Calm. Soft. Like Evelyn. Then the line went dead. I took the diary and gave it to a blogger I trusted. She published everything. It went viral. But the church denied it all. Said we were bitter. Said it was fake. Idioma's mother was found days later, dead in her sleep. Doctors said it was stress. I said it was guilt. We left that church. But the story never left us. And sometimes, when I walk past old church walls or hear "Hallelujah" from far away, I feel a chill in my bones. Because somewhere in that silence, a girl named Idioma is still crying. And somewhere, the woman who made her disappear still sings in the choir. This story teaches us that not everyone who looks holy is pure at heart, and sometimes, the people we trust the most can cause the deepest wounds, but truth, courage, and healing will always find a voice, even in silence. Not every smiling face in church seems holy. And if you ever feel something's wrong, don't stay silent. I hope you enjoyed the story.